Your heater's been running for hours, and you're still cold. The problem isn't too little heat. Most of it never reaches you. There is one overlooked fix that can cut your heating bill to almost nothing. People understood it centuries ago. Centuries before central heating, people relied on practical tricks to keep their homes warm with the least possible fuel. Heavy wool curtains hung over doors and windows in medieval England, thick enough to block drafts that crept in from the street. In Russian villages, the clay-filled pech stove stood at the heart of a home, its bricks absorbing heat from a single fire and slowly releasing it through the night. No thermostat, just careful design. Across Europe and Asia, homes were divided into smaller zones. Doors and thick drapes separated rooms, so families could heat only the spaces they used, leaving unused chambers cold. These methods were not luxuries. They were survival strategies when fuel was scarce and every degree of warmth counted. The evidence still stands in museums and restored houses, with felted wool curtains, masonry stoves with soot-darkened bricks, and floor plans built for closing off rooms. What seems like old-fashioned common sense now was once the difference between comfort and cold. Every home has its own way of holding on to heat, or letting it slip away. The simple rule is this: comfort is not about how much heat you make, but where that heat ends up. True warmth is only felt when useful heat stays where people actually spend their time, at the sofa, the dinner table, or beside the bed. If warmth collects at the ceiling, leaks out a drafty door, or gets sucked into cold walls, the thermostat number can look perfect while your feet stay cold. Air temperature alone does not guarantee comfort. What matters is the mix of air, surface warmth, and gentle circulation that keeps heat in the places you use. This is the core principle. Comfort equals useful heat, right where you are. That single idea, useful heat in the occupied zone, becomes your lens for every fix that follows. It's not about chasing a number on the thermostat, but about guiding warmth to the spaces you live in, and making sure it stays there. Drafts slip through even the smallest cracks, carrying cold air along floors and past ankles. A curtain's sudden flutter on a windless day signals these hidden currents, which chill a room no matter how high the thermostat is set. Cold surfaces work in silence, drawing heat from anyone nearby. Sitting beside a window in winter, skin cools as warmth radiates away to glass or uninsulated walls. Constant, invisible heat loss that leaves rooms feeling colder than the air suggests. Stratification quietly builds layers of warmth near the ceiling, while the floor stays cool. The air people breathe, and the places they sit, remain stubbornly chilly, even as heat collects overhead, often several degrees warmer out of reach. The stack effect completes the cycle, as rising warm air escapes through stairwells or attic hatches, pulling in cold air from below and setting up a relentless exchange. These four culprits, drafts, cold surfaces, stratification, and the stack effect, leave behind cold spots, uneven temperatures, and the sense that comfort is always just out of reach. A simple 3-point temperature test reveals where heat actually settles and where it disappears. To run this check, place one digital thermometer or sensor just above the floor, about 20 centimeters from a window or exterior wall. This is where cold air pools and drafts slip in. Set a second sensor at seating height, roughly 1 meter 10 centimeters above the floor, right where people spend the most time. The third goes near the ceiling, around 2 meters 20 centimeters up, to capture the layer where warm air gathers but rarely gets used. Let the heating run as usual, and log the readings for at least 20 minutes, ideally closer to 30 minutes for a clear pattern. Even with basic thermometers, this setup shows the vertical temperature profile of the room: cold at the floor, moderate where you sit, and warmest overhead. The numbers from this test create a baseline, a snapshot of how much heat is being wasted or trapped out of reach. Later, any fix can be measured against these same points to see real change, not just guesswork. A homeowner stands at the center of the living room, ready to act. The first move is simple: seal the biggest leak. A foam draft stopper presses tight against the door threshold, closing off the cold air's favorite pathway. Next, the room is divided. Unused spaces are closed off with doors or thick curtains, shrinking the area that needs to be heated. Heavy drapes are drawn across the windows, trapping warmth and blocking the chill from radiating inward. Finally, a small fan is set to low, angled upward to stir the air gently and pull lingering warmth back down from the ceiling. Each step is quick, low-tech, and focused on guiding heat to where it matters most, right where people live, sit, and sleep. No new furnace, no gadgets, just a few overlooked adjustments that transform the room's comfort with what's already there. After sealing drafts and guiding heat where it is needed, the seated temperature rises by 1.5 to 3 degrees Celsius. Heating runtime drops by 25 to 35%. Results vary. Open floor plans, extreme climates, or constant door use can limit the effect. Still, most homeowners notice warmer feet and fewer cold spots, even without touching the thermostat. Today, wasted heat still drains wallets and comfort. No magic is required to change that. As energy costs rise, old common sense offers a real advantage. The warmth you keep shapes what home feels like.